The haunting of the Midnight Express. On a cold all-autumn night, the Midnight Express chugged through the desolate countryside, its steel wheels clattering rhythmically against the iron tracks. The train was famous for its punctuality and speed, but tonight, it seemed to have an unsettling aura. Few passengers were aboard, and those who were could not shake the feeling of unease that gripped them. In the last car of the train sat a solitary figure, a man in a dark coat, his face hidden beneath the brim of a wide hat. His presence was peculiar. He did not move or acknowledge anyone, and the seat next to him remained empty, as if a shadow had claimed it. As the train barreled through the night, strange occurrences began to unfold. A chilling breeze swept through the compartments, though the windows were tightly sealed. The lights flickered intermittently, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Passengers whispered nervously, exchanging glances filled with dread. The conductor, a seasoned man with a stern face, noticed the disturbance. He made his way through the train, checking each compartment, but found nothing amiss. When he reached the last car, he felt an inexplicable coldness and saw the mysterious figure sitting motionless in the corner. Ignoring the feeling of dread, he asked the man if everything was all right. The figure slowly raised his head, revealing hollow eyes that seemed to look through the conductor rather than at him. In a voice like the rustling of dead leaves, he said, "This train does not reach its destination." The conductor, unnerved but professional, continued his rounds. As he passed the compartments, he noticed that some of the passengers had vanished. The train's eerie stillness was broken only by the rhythmic clatter of the wheels on the tracks. A sense of impending doom hung in the air. Suddenly the train began to slow down, even though the track ahead was clear. The conductor tried to communicate with the engine room, but the radio crackled with static. As the train came to a complete stop, a fog began to roll in, shrouding the landscape in an impenetrable mist. In the thick fog, ghostly figures began to appear, drifting through the train as though they were remnants of another time. They were dressed in old-fashioned clothing, their expressions frozen in fear. The conductor realized with horror that these were the souls of passengers who had boarded the Midnight Express years ago and had never reached their destination. Desperate, the conductor returned to the last car, but the mysterious figure was gone. In his place was an old, dusty book lying on the seat. He opened it to find names and dates of people who had disappeared over the decades. The last entry was for that very night, including the names of the remaining passengers. The fog outside grew thicker, and the train began to move again, but this time it was not traveling on its usual route. The passengers were left to face the chilling reality that the Midnight Express was no ordinary train. It was a vessel for lost souls, eternally trapped between the world of the living and the dead. The landscape outside grew more surreal with each passing moment. The trees turned to skeletal forms, and the stars above seemed to spin in unnatural patterns. The passengers, now fully aware of their grim fate, huddled together in terror. Some prayed for salvation, while others stared blankly, resigned to their fate. Amid the chaos, a young woman found an old map tucked beneath the book. The map depicted a route that diverged from the Midnight Express's usual path and led to a dark, ominous location marked Eternal Rest. She showed it to the conductor, who could only offer a grim nod. The train slowed again, this time approaching a decayed and forgotten station that appeared out of the fog. Its platform was littered with broken remnants of what had once been a bustling hub. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and a cold wind howled through the empty space. As dawn broke, the train finally came to a halt at the abandoned station. The surviving passengers disembarked, but the station was eerily empty, and there was no sign of the train itself. The Midnight Express had vanished, leaving only the haunting memory of a journey that would forever remain unfinished. In the end, the legend of the Midnight Express lived on, a cautionary tale whispered among travelers. It served as a reminder that some trains never truly reach their destination, and some passengers are fated to ride forever in the spectral realm of the unknown. The survivors wandered through the deserted station, searching for any sign of help or escape. The old platform creaked ominously under their weight, and the once bustling waiting rooms were now in ruins, overgrown with weeds and shadows. An oppressive silence enveloped them, broken only by the distant echoes of their footsteps. As they explored, they discovered faded newspaper clippings pinned to the walls. Each article recounted tragic accidents and unexplained disappearances connected to the Midnight Express. It became clear that this was not merely an abandoned station, but a place forever bound to the train's dark legacy. One passenger, an elderly man with a frail frame, claimed to recognize the place. He recounted a childhood memory of being warned by his grandmother about a cursed train that would ensnare the souls of the lost. His stories aligned eerily with the events unfolding before them. A sense of resignation began to settle among the survivors as they realized there was no conventional way out. The station seemed to defy the rules of reality, existing outside normal space and time. Every attempt to find an exit only led them deeper into the labyrinthine ruins. In a final act of desperation, they gathered at the center of the station, hoping that unity might somehow break the curse. They held hands, reciting a prayer of release, their voices trembling with fear. The atmosphere grew heavy, and a profound sadness seemed to seep from the walls. As their voices faded, a spectral figure appeared in the distance. It was the same man in the dark coat who had warned them. He approached with a sorrowful expression, and in a voice that carried the weight of countless years, said, "Your journey is not yet over. This station is but a way stop on a path that transcends time." With those words, the figure vanished, and the station was suddenly bathed in a soft, otherworldly light. The survivors felt a strange calm as they were enveloped by the light, and the oppressive atmosphere began to lift. Whether this was a form of release or merely another step in their haunting journey, they could not tell. The light grew brighter, and as it enveloped them, their surroundings faded into a serene, blinding whiteness. The Midnight Express, now a mere legend, continued to haunt the memories of those who survived its eerie journey. The tales of the ghostly train and its cursed route became a chilling reminder that some destinations are forever lost to the shadows of time.